The Coach of the Year Award is sponsored by the Charter Oak Insurance and Financial Services Company. Please welcome the Chief Executive Officer, Peter Novak, to present the Walter Camp Football Foundation Coach of the Year Award for 2013.
I think it's safe to say the Duke University basketball team has had a lot more success over the past 25 years than the Duke football team. After all, since 1988, the basketball team has had only one losing season, while the football team has had only 2 winning seasons. That's over a quarter of a century, but that is now in the past. An article in the New York Times this November was entitled, "At Duke, Football is the New Basketball." At that point in the season, the football team was 9-2. They went on to defeat North Carolina in their final regular season game and were headed to consecutive bowl games for the first time in school history. The last time the Blue Devils had 9 victories was in 1941. Let me say it again, 1941. And they never won 10 games in any season before this year. Fortunately, Duke had the foresight to interview and hire the former Tennessee offensive coordinator and former Ole Miss head coach, David Cutcliffe, as the man to turn their program around in 2007. And we can give some credit for that decision to the former dean of Yale College, Richard Broadhead, who had been the president at Duke since he left Yale in 2004. David Cutcliffe is an amazing man. Coach, family man, and person of character. In the book, Coach Them Well, Fostering Faith and Developing Character in Athletes, Coach Cutcliffe was one of the contributors indicating his parents impacted his life at an early age and gave him the values he uses to this day with his players and coaches. He points out how important character is for everyone on his team. From the onset at Duke, David recruited players who could succeed academically and possessed a high moral character. His players believe in him, and as a result, we now have the most successful period in Duke football history, including an appearance in the ACC championship game against Florida State, and in the Chick-fil-A Bowl, it was a real shootout with Texas A&M Aggies. And I think we all would agree that was an exciting game. Coach Cutcliffe is well known as an outstanding offensive coach and quarterback coach. Over the years, 6 of his quarterbacks have gone on to play in the NFL. 2 of the best in the game today are Super Bowl winning MVPs, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. Peyton played for Coach Cutcliffe when David was the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach at Tennessee in the mid-90s. And Eli was recruited by him and played for him at Ole Miss from 2000 to 2003. Both players had a special relationship with their mentor and still do to this day. It was Coach Cutcliffe that Peyton went to at Duke after his May 2001 neck surgery to rehab and work on his mechanics so that he could continue to play in the NFL. I'm not exactly sure what they did together, but it's safe to say that it worked. Peyton has led the Broncos to back-to-back 13-3 regular season records since rehabbing with Coach Cutcliffe. When their dad Archie, who was a pretty good quarterback himself in his day, heard about Coach Cliffe's honor as the Walter Camp Coach of the Year, he sent Bill O'Brien, a past president of the Walter Camp, who served with him on the National Football Foundation Board of Directors, the following note. Bill, the Walter Camp folks got it right. David Cutcliffe is a wonderful human being and a great football coach. He has been a dear friend of our family for over 20 years and has had a tremendous effect on both Peyton and Eli. I would say he is more responsible than any other individual for their success as quarterbacks. Peyton would not have been able to extend his career in Denver without the guidance and direction of Coach Cutcliffe. Not to be outdone by their father, the boys send their best wishes as well.
I'm Eli Manning. I'm here to congratulate Coach Cutcliffe on winning the Walter Camp Coach of the Year award. This is definitely an honor that he has earned and very much deserves.
Well, it's an outstanding accomplishment for Coach Cutcliffe to be named the Coach of the Year by the Walter Camp Foundation. Very prestigious award, prestigious foundation, All-American teams, Coaches of the Year. The history is very storied. And
the greatest thing about Coach Cutcliffe and his achievements this year is that he has changed the culture at Duke and their football program.
But, I can't tell you how indebted I am to him for what he's done for me, and I'm not surprised at all for what he's done there at Duke. Completely changing the culture of that football program, turning them into a winner, and he truly deserves this honor.
What people around Duke have learned about Coach Cutcliffe is not only that he is a terrific coach, but he is one of the best men that you'll ever meet in your life, and someone who's been a mentor for me, not only for football, but also just in life lessons. Proud to call him a friend, and he's a terrific coach.
He's been a great deal to me as a friend, first and foremost, but certainly as a coach and mentor. 4 years together at the University of Tennessee, of course coaching Eli there at Ole Miss, we were definitely close during that time. And then these past couple of years during my injury and rehab situation, Coach Cutcliffe's kind of been my coach again. He allowed me to come to Duke, which is a private university where I could work out in the indoor facility, in the weight room, under a private setting where I could focus on getting healthy. And I thought during my injury, which was quite strange, I really had to learn some of the basic mechanics over again, and who better to go to than one of my original teachers. Obviously, my dad has seen me throw probably the longest since I was a kid, but Coach Cutcliffe has seen me throw, seen my mechanics since I was 18 years old, all the way up until here my 16th year in the NFL. And so I knew he would know how to sort of start over from the ground up, and that's what we did. And he was the perfect guy to go to during this unique situation, and he truly helped me get where I needed to get to.
When you think of great Duke coaches, Coach K is not the only guy that comes up now. Coach Cutcliffe and what he's done for that football program has been amazing. And again, I just want to congratulate him on a great season and on winning this award. And you could not have picked a better coach and a better man to receive it.
I just want to congratulate Coach Cutcliffe on being the National Coach of the Year by the Walter Camp Foundation. He truly deserves it, and I am certainly proud of him and proud to be his friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Walter Camp Foundation 2013 Coach of the Year from Duke University, Coach David Cutcliffe.
I can't hardly talk. Well, Peyton and Eli just about did something that no one's ever been able to do, and that's about to make me speechless. Incredible. Thank you all, you guys. Now, I don't know if you're aware, we have not often that a coach of this magnitude comes into a room anywhere. And we have a Coach of the Year that's been a Coach of the Year over the last 3 decades every year, and that's my head coach, my lovely wife, Karen Cutcliffe. Karen, please stand. Please, there she is. Now, I'm not the only one that realizes that now after we've been here with the Walter Camp family. They have now named her Coach of the past 3 decades as well. We have had a blast. And the reason is not just the way you all have entertained us. Many of you are here at the front table or in the front of this room. But it's the friendship that is so easy to develop with you guys. Hugh mentioned it. It's really family. It's fraternity. It's fun. and I have really enjoyed watching you all have a great time. Coach of the Year awards, they're about players. They're about Devon and his teammates. But for all of us in the coaching profession, it's about all of these players currently and past. Very appreciated. I'm going to manage this one well. I hope you know the 3 B's of public speaking. Be brief, be funny, and be seated. So I'm going to try to execute that, but I want to share, particularly with my fellow Alabama alums, where I learned coaching. You know, it wasn't just Coach Bryant and my other mentors. I had a good old boy that was a friend of mine down at Alabama that was in his 8th year seeking his undergraduate degree. He had had a very good time in his time in Tuscaloosa. Well, the university informed him, this is it. You get your GPA right, you get your hours, you graduate this spring or you're gone forever. So he truly has to study. And it's come down to one class. He's got to make an A in the final. The final is a comprehensive essay exam on a book this thick. He truly studies his work. It's a lecture class. 200 people in the class. The day of the final comes. He takes his seat dead in the back of the room. The professor comes down front and says, okay, class, you've got 50 minutes, no more, to complete this exam. Do not open the exam booklets. We'll pass them out until I say begin. So they pass them out. My buddy's waiting anxiously. He really knows the stuff. He's praying he studied the right thing. He says begin. So my guy, question 1, he knows it. He writes and writes. Essay exam. So you're going to write everything you know. Question 2, he knows that one. Sweat coming over his brow, pumped up, excited. Question after question, total focus, and then he gets to the very last question on the test. He knows this one best of all. So he is nailing it. He gets through with the last sentence, he dots the period, he looks up, and everyone else, 199 people, had completed the test and left. 199 test booklets turned in. My buddy's sitting in the back with the professor with his hands on his knees, and he says, young man, I've been saying time's up for the last 4 minutes. That has disgusted me, and I am not accepting your paper. It's an F. He said, oh no, professor, you don't understand. You can't do that. He said, I'm sorry, it's an F. So my buddy comes down and he puts his test booklet right under the chin of the professor. He says, please, just look at any of these answers or all of them. I'm telling you, it's A work. The professor says, absolutely not. So my buddy gets nose to nose with him, puts his hand on his hips, and he says, you know who I am? And the professor gets a little weak-kneed, thinking, this must be the president of the university's son. And then the professor regains his composure and he says, I have no idea who you are, nor do I care. Well, my buddy says, good. He goes over to that stack of 199 booklets, puts his in the middle, and runs out the back of the room. Now, hey, Devon, why do we play well in the fourth quarter? We adjust on the run. That's it. God bless.